So let's check out what's going on with Green Satoshi token. We're going to talk about our prediction from the last video, how it played out, and then we're going to be talking about what is going on with the altcoin market, because it looks like the altcoin market is about to capitulate, and this is probably going to bleed over into, you guessed it, Green Satoshi token, which is an altcoin. For this video specifically, I'm going to be looking at the Heikin-Ashi candles because, you know, when we look at the price action at this moment in time, it's very green, red, green, red, green. You switch over to the Heikin-Ashi candles, and it's very, very telltale whether we're in an uptrend or a downtrend. So let's jump right into the video. First of all, if you want to learn more about Heikin-Ashis, it is a little bit out of the scope of this video. It will take too long to explain. I have made a full in-depth video about understanding the Heikin-Ashi candles, how to trade them, how they're calculated, and all that good stuff. It is in my educational playlist if you want to check that out. But the most basic thing I can say about the Heikin-Ashi candles in 10 seconds or less is we use the Heikin-Ashi candles to define uptrends and downtrends much more clear-cut than when we're looking at traditional Japanese candlesticks, and that is because Heikin-Ashi candles take in the wicks to the upside, the wicks to the downside, and they predominantly open exactly halfway through the previous candle body, which makes it very, very hard for an uptrend to be pushed back down. If you are having a green uptrend, it's harder to turn it back over to red, and if you're having a red downtrend, it makes it harder to push it back up to green. So it's very easy to see we're in a downtrend or an uptrend. Let's jump right into the video. So the last Green Satoshi token video we made, we were up here at $2.67. At that time, because we've got a green line on here, I believe we titled the video Green Satoshi token is capitulating below the mint price, which was where this launched over on Huobi at $4.67. This green trend line was absolutely imperative that we held, because now unfortunately we are literally in price discovery to the downside. And you know, if you've ever watched my channel before, if you're a veteran to my channel, you know that whenever a coin goes in price discovery to the downside, I do love to violate it with the inverse chart. I'm kind of joking with this one, but you can see, you know, if we were saying that this was the previous all-time high, you can see we came down, had a correction. We're currently being supported by the EMA ribbons. You know, we poked our head above the all-time high, came back down, consolidated below it, and then once again, this green line was your previous all-time high. We are pushing back above it in price discovery to the upside. That is on the inverse scale. When we look at things normally, we now realize that we are capitulating and we are basically in price discovery to the downside at this point, which is really not what you want to see. After you do take out this low, this was my my initial price target from the last video. I was talking about how I believe Green Satoshi token is at least coming down to $1.90, and when I say at least, I still have this prediction that I had all the way back here on the 14th of May. If you've been watching me for a prolonged period of time, you know I've been talking about this. But I've actually been talking about this more macro target, and I believe, yeah, it's this one right here. If we pull from one of the most recent impulses, you can see from this low to this high, if we measure the Fibonacci retracement target, it's coming all the way down to the 2.618 fib at $1.48, which is actually where I think Green Satoshi token is coming to next. And I'm going to be talking about why I think we're going to be coming down to it very, very quickly in just one moment's time. But the key takeaways from this are, this was the 1.618. You can see on the daily time frame, we held the 1.6 perfectly. So we know that we've got a strong level of support for this Fibonacci retracement that we're currently running off, and we know that it's very, very likely that the 2.618 is either going to be heavily respected, or if we do capitulate below it, it's going to be a massive fib and would probably cause us to landslide to one more level down. Now, the most macro fib that I can pull from at this moment in time is from this low to this high up here, and you can see we've got another 1.618. Obviously the initial 1.618 of this micro impulse was here. We've got a slightly more macro 1.618 right down here at basically $1.09, but let's call it $1 as a psychological level. We could definitely be coming down to this level, but like I said, in the last video, we were calling for a 28% drop, almost 29% drop, and at this moment in time, we're about 22% down, and we came down over 26%. So that was a great prediction. A couple of weeks ago as well, we were calling for a 50% drop, and we're currently down 29%. So You know, a lot of Moon Boys have still been shilling. I really wish that I could have my Moon Boy helmet on, but we're really not in the type of scenario where we can be bullish on altcoins, and I'm going to talk about why in just one moment's time. But to quickly wrap up what is going on Green Satoshi token, you can very much see 4-hourly candles in a huge landslide. Coming over on the daily, bearish engulfing candle, and bear in mind, this candle opened halfway through at $2.67, so for it to capitulate all the way down to here on the Heikin-Ashis is absolutely brutal. If we're looking at the selling volume on the daily, we've got exponential selling volume, which is increasing, and we're seeing this happen while we're coming right back down to the previous lows, the all-time lows, should I say, at $1.90. What's interesting about this is, if we do continue to capitulate below $1.90, we would take out the lows, and we'd be coming right down to my target of $1.49. Because of this, we would see the momentum indicators, or at least in my opinion, we would see the momentum indicators looking at the squeeze bomb. A lot of people use the MACD, I prefer the squeeze bomb. You can see this would be going in from a stage where at this moment in time we're tapering down. We've got these dark red candles, which is indicative that bears are losing control, but in my opinion it's more of a sign that bears are taking a breather until we capitulate below these lows once again, and we could see another run up like this where we have a massive bearish impulse to the downside. Quickly wrapping up here before we talk about the altcoin market, I really just want to say it's pretty black and white. The squeeze bomb on the 4-hour has already started to build up that bearish momentum, which is another reason why I think this is going to bleed over into the daily squeeze bomb, and we're going to see a more macro impulse to the downside after we do start capitulating. In other news, Bitcoin is literally kind of falling out of this triangle pattern. We already fell out of this initial asymmetrical triangle I was talking about, but now it kind of just seems like more of a sideways chop range. We are getting bearish momentum coming in on the squeeze bomb, which is probably going to make us bleed below 29,000 and come right down to 28.6. If we capitulate below there, which I think we will, then this is going to bleed into the altcoins, and Green Satoshi token is going to be wrecked. Wrapping up the video before we go onto the altcoin market, I mean, it's very black and white. 4-hourly EMAs, I mean, I could have just made this a 1-minute video and say, look, trend is your friend until the end. Look at the 4-hourly EMAs until we flip above these. We're clearly bearish. While we're below these, you know, it just makes sense to look out for lower price targets. So I still have my eyes on the previous lows. I'm at least predicting another 10% drop to come in the next couple of days or so, but more specifically, I am targeting the next leg down. I think this is more likely, so I'm still predicting another 28.5% drop from this 50% correction I was initially talking about. Tons of bearish volume coming in. Doesn't seem like now's the time to be all in on altcoins. Wrapping up this video, super simply, let's wrap up the video on the crypto total 2. Now, the total 2 is basically the same as total, but it's slightly different. So total is the total crypto market cap. I don't feel like that justifies any explanation. I feel like it's pretty black and white. But total 2 is the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin. What's another way of saying that? It's the altcoin market cap. So looking at the altcoin market cap, we are capitulating below this 618. This is from the the bear market lows from when we started to run up into the bull market, and you can really see a lot of people are saying, oh, it's altcoin season, moon boy time, now is the time to FOMO in. This does not look good to me. In my opinion, and I said this in my last video, I think we're going to come down another 42% in terms of the total crypto market cap. This would be about another 38.5% from where we are right now. This is if we do close a weekly candle below 675 million. Bear in mind, that's at this period in time, it is only Thursday. If we do manage to push back above the 618 Fibonacci right here, we might be saved. But if we do close a weekly below here, we could be coming down 41%, which could wipe out 282 billion from the altcoin market cap. So I really do think it's pretty black and white. RSI is still in a bear market. Price action for altcoins is still in a bear market. Bitcoin looks like it wants to capitulate to lower levels. We're consolidating, getting ready for a big move. And Green Satoshi token has tons of bearish volume coming in, and it's just been rejected from the EMA ribbons. Seems pretty black and white for me. That is pretty much all I've got. Once again, my price targets on this are $1.90, but more specifically, I think we're coming down to at least $1.50. Would I be surprised if we went lower than $1.50? Absolutely not. This is a new token. It's got a pretty low market cap, and this can absolutely get brutalized if Bitcoin decides that it wants to move another leg down. So before you ask me, no, I do not have any targets on green Satoshi token where at this moment in time I'd be interested in DCAing. I wouldn't be interested in DCAing if we came down to 150. I wouldn't if we came down to $1.09, which is the 1.618. I am waiting for Bitcoin to put in a macro bottom. Until I see Bitcoin come down to like 22k and do an accumulation range, break out of the RSI, something like this, which we did in the previous bear market, I'm absolutely not considering picking up any altcoins. So all I've got for you today. Hope you found some value in this content. As always, cowboy out. Peace.